Well, welcome back. Mike, how are you this evening?
Franne, I'm good. How are you?
Terrific. So I know that you are home in Atlanta, if only for a brief moment tonight, as you travel around the country. And I wanted to check in with you. How is 2012 starting off for you?
2012 is great. I had a little daughter last year, and if I look at some of the exciting things that BDPA National and also a lot of the local chapters are prepared to do, I think 2012 is shaping up to be a good year for me personally and for the organization.
Wow, that is a wonderful way, a wonderful perspective to share with us. And I know that you are now, that you've had many roles within BDPA, and you are now the director of BDPA South Region. And I wondered, when you talk about the fresh perspective and the vision for 2012, what does that exactly look like?
Well, it really looks like, setting the objectives for the organization. Really, what is it that, what value do we want to provide to our members? And then how do we enhance the programs that we provide today to the youth? And how do you build all that up and make sure that the awareness is out there in terms of all the great things that BDPA does, and get that communicated to our sponsors and then also other folks who we would also like to join us in this effort and really grow BDPA. So I'm really looking forward to a year of growth really over the next 2 years for BDPA under the leadership of Monique Berry.
Well, that's BDPA is all about leadership and leadership at so many levels. And I think it's great to acknowledge that we are under new leadership. Monique is ready. I sit in Philadelphia, so I see Monique on a regular basis, and it's great to feel the energy that is starting off the year. Now, in terms of this whole governance model, that is new, and you talked about, I'm almost picturing here a diagram, a number of stakeholders. There are the members, there are the sponsors, there's the youth, the community, getting the word out. How is that going to play out in the southern region? How will you actually execute that? And what can people learn from your perspective?
Well, Franne, as you said, it's fairly new, and with new things comes new challenges, but there's also rewards too. I think the challenge initially with the new regional makeup is the fact that it's new. You have to help define and establish what we're going to do for the region, define the strategies and what programs and what objectives we need to do within the regions to kind of uplift the regions, help them grow, help getting the word out about BDPA and all the great things we do. So on my side, my thing is to define a strategy where we did that with not only just myself, but with some other regional directors. We combined a joint regional strategy that we're going to execute across the country, but also working with the local presidents and understanding their vision for their chapter and how that maps up to not only just a regional strategy, but also the national strategy. And then look for ways where we can meet in the middle, but at the same time rolling and really moving towards the same common goals. And those three goals really, quite clearly, is just building up the membership, which is what I use when I say the term growing the membership. That's what I mean. The other thing is also increasing our sponsorship, and then providing value-added services or professional development to our members. I think those three are really the primary objectives for us, and then on top of all that is just really building the awareness of BDPA and what we do, and put that word out there and make sure people know about all those great things we do. And I think with those four objectives, I think we can do a lot of good, not only in the South region, but I think nationally.
Okay. So you mentioned growing, attracting, building awareness. What got you originally involved in BDPA? What's your story? I almost feel like it's the beginning of a series. What's your story?
Well, I was a member of BDPA back in Jersey. I'm from Jersey. I grew up in Patterson, New Jersey. I was a member of the Newark BDPA some long time ago. I moved to Atlanta in 2006, and I got involved with the local BDPA chapter here when someone named Teresa Williams became the president. So what really attracts me to BDPA, it's an African-American organization that basically supports technology professionals. So anyone that knows me knows I love technology and I love talking about technology, and then most of all, I love networking and meeting new people. So my interest is really about the technology aspect, the fact that I'm amongst my people, and then just networking and meeting new people and building those relationships. So that's what draws me to BDPA, and that's what keeps me here.
And earlier in our conversation, you talked about attracting the youth. What's the strategy for 2012 in terms of attracting youth so that they'll say, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, well, I got involved because, and I'm still involved because?
Yeah, I think the past leadership and some of those folks are still current within the leadership have done a great job in really getting the word out about the HSCC programs, all those things related to STEM. So my position is really to support those, go around and also communicate and evangelize what we're doing and what we plan to do. I know some chapters I know in Atlanta, and then also some chapters outside the Southern region have a lot of new programs and enhancements to the existing ones. So my job is really just to evangelize those and make sure that the youth understand what we have to offer and support them. And in my case, I also would like to sponsor membership for some youth as well to make sure that they have an opportunity to get involved.
Now, will that be a personal or individual sponsorship, or what? Tell me a little bit more about that. And is that
one
something
thing I'm very passionate about? When you volunteer for organizations, I'm very passionate about what I call the 3 T's, and I think it's well known: time, treasure, and talent. I like to provide my time, which is what I do with BDPA when I sit in meetings or sit in the national board meetings. I like to provide my talent, provide my experience and my advice on certain situations. But the other thing is provide my treasure. That's making personal donations to causes I believe in. So those are the things that I'm really passionate about. So I try to find opportunities where I can help people, especially the youth, that really want to get involved in things but may not have the wherewithal otherwise. So we got to be able to champion for folks like that so that they don't miss out on great opportunities.
Okay, so Mike, as you talk about opportunities, I'm not sure that our listening audience is aware that you're currently serving as the head of a global infrastructure and delivery for FIS. And I just wondered if you could talk a little bit about your role and how some of the skills that you use on a day-to-day basis, even if it's time management, are transferable in your BDPA role, and to what degree you get to share some of those learnings when you talked about time and talent and treasures with your BDPA team and the BDPA family.
Sure. Yeah, I work for FIS. I'm an executive at a company called FIS, which is a global leading banking and payments technology provider. Has over 14,000 customers in 100 countries. Really, if you look at FIS and what I do for my job, I provide leadership of a global team that's over 500 people. And on top of that, one of the core values of FIS is community. So they definitely support the community in terms of United Way and other nonprofit organizations. So a lot of the core values that my company has aligns with my own core values. I've been interested in doing community service just like a lot of folks in BDPA for years now. So that aligns, and within my normal job, I provide a lot of leadership to my team. I develop people in terms of helping them move on and progress to the next level within their careers, providing advice and mentorship and guidance. So a lot of that experience, and then also the business side of things, understanding financials and the business aspect. So a lot of those experiences and skill sets easily transfer over to BDPA or any nonprofit organization when you provide advice to try to help the organization achieve its objectives. So I think a lot of those things, and it's not just me, there's a lot of people on the board that have similar skill sets, which is why I think the leadership as a whole this year, and like the other years, is very strong, and it's going to be consistent, and I look forward to a lot of great things.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit more. When you opened up, you mentioned that you have a young daughter. And then as I listened to you, I heard the word grow, and communicate, and develop. And I can't help but see the parallels between kind of starting a family and revitalizing and energizing a region, and sharing the secret that BDPA has, and helping a whole new generation understand what BDPA has to offer, and also helping them understand how they can be a part of shaping it. And so, although you've talked a little bit about the vision, I'm wondering if you can kind of pull back the covers for us and identify some of the people that are on the BDPA team with you. How are you taking that experience of managing and leading 500 people and bringing it, to what you do on a monthly basis and quarterly basis with BDPA? And the reason I'm drilling down is I know that within our listeners are members that haven't stepped up to take a leadership role within BDPA. And I'm hoping that as they listen to some of the stories that you share, they may be encouraged to take that step or to raise their hand to volunteer or to be part of a committee or something like that.
And what's interesting, we have a lot of good young and I shouldn't say old, I would say mature talent that I met during our strategy meetings last year in Philadelphia and then also in Vegas. And locally, and what I'll do, Fran, is break down what I've been doing with some of the folks locally, but also the local chapters, but the regional and then also national. So locally, we also have a new president coming in, bright and very energetic person, Felicia Jones. Very excited about her and the new leadership that's going to be working with her. So some of the talent that I've taken and really applied to BDPA here in Atlanta, I've been working closely with Felicia and the team, where I helped them kind of draft their strategy, identified some objectives. I'm also helping them and guiding them establish a nonprofit 501c3 organization. So I've used my talents to kind of help and guide them there. On the regional level, as I referenced earlier, is we sat down with a lot of the other regional directors and we developed a joint regional strategy. So again, using my talents and experience, but also leveraging the talents and experience of other folks to kind of come up with something that we can all use throughout our regions to kind of move the local chapters and helping the presidents of those local chapters move forward. And then at a national level, as you know, as the regional director, my other role, I serve as a member of the national board. So it gives me an opportunity to leverage my experience, whether it be a business experience, leading and being a participant of other nonprofit organizations, leading and developing people, and just providing that strategic advice. So I have the opportunity at all levels, whether it's local, regional, or national, to provide my different skill sets from leadership to strategy and to just provide an overall experience to help the BDPA as a whole at every single level move forward. So I think I leverage those talents a great deal, but I also learn a great deal from a lot of the other talented leaders within BDPA.
And as you're talking, I'm fast-forwarding to a certain degree to August, and I can almost see the conference now, because the conference is one of the opportunities where we have almost everyone in the room from all the different levels of BDPA interacting and sharing best practices and fellowship. And I'm wondering, even though it's the 10th day of 2012, if you can share part of your vision of what might happen at the conference.
Oh, I'll gladly share that, Fran. One is the Atlanta chapter will be the chapter that achieved the most growth between now and August. The other thing is I'm looking forward to helping the South Region also achieve that, to be the chapter or the region that achieved the most growth. I also want to be able to identify programs that we've enhanced, and that's also new programs. We're talking about doing summits, regional summits. We're also talking about doing local summits. So I think when we go to the national conference in August, I think there'll be a lot of good stories to tell. It's not because Mike's involved. I just have the feeling we have a lot of very energetic people, and that really energizes me, because when you have a lot of people with all that energy, it kind of makes the mood good, and you all just want to do good, and you all want to just work and fight towards the same goals and objectives, and to me that's very exciting. So I think when we go to Nationals in August, there's going to be a lot of great stories to tell, from membership growth to new programs that were introduced. I think we'll have more local chapters that are probably nonprofits. So I think there's going to be a lot of good news to share.
So what's the challenge, aside from the Southern region picking up kind of some of the kudos? What's the challenge that you're going to put out to listeners that they can step up to over the next 8 months to really make their experience within BDPA a meaningful one, and to make the stories that we share around the table in August really, really exciting? What would you ask?
I would say to them, now is the time to, because we have new leadership, there's no time better than now to really step forward and make an impact. Because of the new regional structure, the new board of directors, now is the time to get involved if you're really passionate about the BDPA and all the things BDPA does. And there's some things some of us may say that we should do differently, but if you're one of those people, here's the time to actually provide that advice, to provide that guidance. Get involved. And you can either be part of the problem or part of the solution. I want everybody to be part of the solution, because I want everyone to work together. And I think the more numbers we have, the more leaders we have, the more people we have interested in one common goal under Monique Berry, I think we can get a lot done, not just for this year for BDPA, but for this year and beyond. So let's work together to grow BDPA and make it a strong organization that it already is, but just let's just make it stronger.
Wow. That is a wonderful start to 2012. Mike, it's really been a pleasure having you kick off our programming for 2012. Love the energy, love the command and presence, and really you've set the tone for community and action. By naming one of the things that I heard right away is you named names. Acknowledging the leaders, acknowledging people who are setting the tone. And BDPA is about people. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing you at the conference, and thanks for setting us off on the right foot. So have a great evening. I know that you're traveling tomorrow and that you're on the road a lot. And thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Fran. I really appreciate you inviting me to the show.
My pleasure, and look forward to hearing more updates from your region.